Welcome back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another talk. Yet again, we've got Philip Druzhinin. Philip, how you doing?
How it's going? Pretty much fine on my side.
Pretty good here too. Everybody who might have just come across the Working Brother Talks, this is a comedy show. Nothing we discuss here has anything to do with reality. And people who don't know or may have not seen other talks with Philip, Philip researches all kinds of interesting things on the internet. Let's put it that way, right, Philip? How would you describe what you do personally?
Interesting and funny things.
Interesting and funny things. There you go. Excellent. Shall we start off with some funny news? Russia linked to fake news that sparked the mosque riot in the UK. Of course, Russian propaganda. It's an old favorite of Working Brother Talks. How do you feel about the fact that everything bad is blamed on Russia?
In Russia, everything's bad. What's bad is blame on MI6. So I'm not surprised that they're blaming everything on us. So it's just
So, are you trying to say that we're living in George Orwell's 1984?
probably. I cannot
In
say
one
for
way or
sure.
another, huh? In one way or another.
I can.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we have a lot of things to get into today. They're all gonna be on the edge of reality, or what people consider reality. Let's put it that way. Um,
Beyond the horizon of reality.
Beyond the horizon, and beyond the horizon of humor, also. We've got. Shall we get into an old video of yours first? This is in relation to Ukraine. This is a video of yours from a year ago. A clear message from British players. Do you remember what this is about, or should I play
Media
it?
stay unsatisfied with the recent Ukrainian counter.
Okay, this is AI voiceover. So what's going on here?
I think you need to watch it because I don't remember what I was saying there. It's decrypting what is painted on this image. So I think it's okay to just watch it and understand.
That is tend to die soon. Baby stands for militarizing Ukrainian youth. Fat lady symbolizes European bureaucracy that is corrupt and gets its share from the Ukraine.
I have a feeling that music is gonna trigger something. So basically, it's you breaking down some Ukrainian propaganda or Russian
Not
propaganda.
really. It's just sometimes people who are involved in some graphic image making and so on. So maybe people who
Hmm.
work in marketing, public relations, they sometimes give us a message, and I can read these messages from the titles, from the speeches of opinion leaders and influencers and politicians, whatever VIPs. So uh, we can find simple messages that are encrypted in some titles, in some images, and so we can decode it and understand what is hidden behind all these messages. What we should do in the future, for example. So like a while ago, I was trying to understand what is going on in this world. I was trying to make some configuration of current nations as a teams in this game that we all observe, which is kind of weird sometimes, but it's all scripted as what I figured. And so I separated these teams. I would say called one team was called banksters. The team is financially involved in all the things that are going on. It had a video. It's called Mudflat Puzzle, maybe part one or part two, where I totally configure all these teams. Second one was globalist, I think. Third one is nationalist, and fourth one I don't really remember what I called. But definitely we see like around four teams currently that are playing, and not much change in the players. So different nations can probably join some part of the team. Maybe, for example, Turkey looks like a NATO country, right? But it's definitely not playing the NATO in the NATO team. So it
Yeah,
sometimes is
Turkey's doing
Yeah,
Turkey, man. Turkey's like
Yes.
stabbing people back everywhere it gets a chance, basically. Like from the Russians to
Yeah.
the Iranians to the Syrians to the Kurds to the Americans. Like it's just everybody is like whoever it feels like it's just nope, stab you in the back.
Actually, you have to see the general line. So, in each country, for example, Russians only maybe Russian and Turkey are two separate European countries who can be called a national players, for example. And so you don't have
Yeah,
any
like
other European country
sovereign
that is a
sovereign nation
national
state,
player.
basically. Yeah.
Oh, not exactly sovereign, but it's a kind of pretending to be national interest country. So I'm not saying everything 100% is a national interest, but they pretend to be. So and so is the globalist, for example. And so some other people configure different teams. So but time passed, like around 10 years already passed from the time that I was making that video, and I can see like several players are still playing. For example, the blue color team is European Union, right? And so-called Democratic Party. It's just the same team, controlled by the same leaders, same agenda, I would say. So-called liberal democratic team or globalist team, whatever you call it. There's another team that's called red color team. Red color team is so-called Republicans. Republicans, also they partly globalist because they want to, have a lot of money, and there's no way they can have money without global business building and so on, and so they do it. But other interest is what they have is they have an interest with relating to Christianity, for example, and so they relate to Catholic Church and Vatican itself. So if you have like a European nation that is closest to Vatican, currently it's Hungary. Hungary is so-called, even we can call it ambassador of Vatican in Europe. So they're like active player who is like, for example, Viktor Orban, who is riding around the world, going to Ukraine, going to Moscow, going to Beijing.
So you're
Then
telling
he
me
goes.
that your take on Orban and his recent world tour is that he was doing that on behalf of the Vatican?
Yes, and exactly after he finished his trip, we have this Trump case, like maybe 2 or 3 days after it. So I think nobody was satisfied from the blue team that the red team started to move things around and creating this chain of, opinion leaders. For example, we can call Orban one, who is possibly was sent to Kiev by the Roman Pope, because Roman Pope was always promoting like let's go ahead and have a peace talks and so on. So they play in the script of peace track. We call it a peace track in
Man,
diplomacy.
whenever anybody mentions the Pope and the Vatican in the context of Ukraine, the only thing I can remember is the Azov retards who were evacuated from
Yeah.
the Azovstal, I think it was called, right?
And currently we have an exchange between America and Russia. 24, I think, prisoners are being exchanged currently in Istanbul. So we have this clear alliance: Vatican, United States Republicans, maybe even CIA and Pentagon folks
I
also
actually
involved in
have the
here.
article. I have the article that you share from the New York Times. A mysterious plot prompts a rare call from Russia to the Pentagon. Russia's defense minister
Yes.
said he needed to talk to the defense secretary Lloyd Austin about what the alleged Ukrainian operation. What happened remains murky. Dun 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 dun.
Exactly. So that's all happened before Trump assassination. That's happened a couple of days before that. So I mean,
Hmm.
this is all actions of one team. Then we have actions of the other team, and we have so-called unsuccessful assassination attempt, and immediately after that, we see the change of paradigm in the blue color team when
Let's
they
put let's put all the cards on the table. Considering you're like into conspiracy theories and alternative views, and like you study this from many different aspects. How do you feel about what happened? Do you think do you think it was a failed assassination attempt that failed, or do you think it was a planned failed assassination attempt?
I'm not sure about the exact original plan, what it was, but I'm pretty sure the plan for the blue team was to assassinate Trump. Maybe the red team, captured something from this plan. Maybe they had something to script. Maybe
Wait,
a plan
I have
B.
a
I
really
don't
good
know.
question. I have a really good question. If I was like one of the stupid viewers, I would ask, who's the good guys, the blue team or the red team?
No, none. So
I know, man.
basically, if you have a script, for example, they tell the guy like, you hear the shots, you grab your ear and you duck, right? Script is simple. Trump was an actor for many years. I don't know. Even if the bullets were not fake, even if the shots were real, he could actually not be hit, right? And we saw he wasn't hit. Actually, we saw the bullets flying. We saw the people were screaming. We saw the hydraulics of one tractor was damaged, and we see the flow of the air. That's what we see. That all of this could be staged, right? Even that the captured bullet, which was captured by one of the photographers, it also could be scripted and staged, for example.
Yeah, the captured
But we
bullet
hear,
is absolutely bullshit because I don't have the photos loaded now, but I have it as one of the for the other talks that we did. The same photographer that took the picture of Bush during the like speech for during the like reading of the upside down book for the 9/11 thing, took the picture of Trump with the bullet. So like that bullet,
yeah.
like anybody who knows anything about photography knows that that can't be a real picture, basically. But beyond that picture of the bullet, there's a lot more other details about that day
So
that are
so
very weird.
basically, you have the script when one of the actors ducks after the shooting, right? The script is simple. He grabs his ear. We don't see the blood first, right? We see him touching the ear, watching the hand, no blood, and he ducks. That's what we exactly saw in the footage. And what happened next could be anything because those secret agents surrounded him and they could be cutting his ear or spilling the blood on his ear. We don't know. We don't actually seen
The,
anything that was below this, gathering of secret agents and Trump. And he was
a
acting
couple of days
weird.
after that, some of the channels on Telegram posted a video of Trump from Worldwide Wrestling Federation, or whatever it was called, WWF, back in the day, where he's like acting and jumping and doing the like beat down and stuff
Yes,
like that. So like
yes.
it's not possible.
So he's possibly was just an actor in the script, and maybe as I was guessing the first day I was trying to review it, I was saying he was a useful idiot. For example, they told him, "You are safe. Just follow the script and say, take a look what's happened, and immediately grab your ear, watch at the hand. You're gonna see the blood or something, and you duck." And that's what exactly he was playing out. So I mean, that is simple. So he could be killed. He could be killed, but the script
So
was
you're
not
saying
having two plans.
yeah, the script had like a ending and a B ending, basically, one that favors
Yes,
the red
yes,
team and one that favors the blue team, and both of them are possibly
exactly.
scripted. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So uh, maybe that's the assassination number one, and maybe we'll see assassination number two soon. But exactly after this assassination attempt, everything started to change in the blue team. So they supposed to be like having some troubles, and we see troubles. We see Biden first. He was saying, I'm okay. I'm still going. I'm still going. I'm still running. I'm still running." And at Sunday, something happens.
Man,
And
forget
as
forget the troubles that the blue team is having within the U.S. Just generally speaking, worldwide, the blue team is like losing their shit and setting the whole world on fire because like there's have been how many assassination attempts and assassinations in the last like month and a half, like 5, 6, and including in Africa
yes,
2 in the last week. It's like what? Like that's not
I,
normal.
I was covering all this stuff from it was started from May, so it's not even ended yet because still the coups and assassinations going on everywhere. Basically, you can see, I mean, on every continent, every Asia, America, uh, Venezuelan coup that was just a week ago after the elections. So I mean,
We're gonna
it's
get into the
everywhere.
Venezuela thing. You've said some videos, and I've had some also loaded here. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the Olympics. We're gonna get into a lot of other things. But I wanted to take a moment just now and thank everybody who buys me coffee because your coffee makes this show run, basically, kind of. Mm. Sorry for that. That was the microphone. And yeah. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. You sent a video, Philip, and you titled it Slava. What did you title it?
Nancy Pelosi, like a couple of years ago,
No, that was the.
was making a speech, and she said, instead of Slava Ukraini, she said Slava Wuhani. Wuhan is a city where coronavirus was originally leaked from, Wuhan lab in China.
Oh, so Slava Wuhani. That's what this is.
Yeah, that was one of the Russian popular memes. And so basically, right now, people making cartoons of potential Ukrainian conscripts, watching all this stuff on the news, like people being grabbed. And so these is the folks that are arriving at somebody's house, trying to grab him. And he is like watching the map, how to escape from Ukraine, how to flee Ukraine, grabs all his stuff, rides the car to the border, and wants to swim to another country. But he gets grabbed by the border patrol. They put him in a van and send him to the front line, where he's all remembers everything that just happened, as you can see.
And it ends with a drone.
Yes. So basically, a bunch of this stuff happening, and the paradigm change was exactly after Trump's assassination. So we have this blue team stumbling, and they didn't know what to do. But the script had a plan B for them too, and it was assigned a year ago. I was marking that a year ago when we had a chat with Russian Vets, and we were discussing that. I called it the black spot for Biden. I already understood that they're gonna take him down if something is not, optimal for the campaign, and so they took him down and put Kamala. But I was thinking it would be Michelle Obama or Michael Obama, and basically now we know what.
Soros's son endorsed Kamala first before anybody else endorsed her. That's I think telling.
So basically, the blue team coach is Soros. Currently, is the Soros Jr. He is the blue team coach.
You think they only have one coach? Manager. You don't think they have like a circle of coaches depending on what kind of event they're
all dead.
attending?
He's the only alive. So the rest of them are dead. Rockefeller.
You don't
died.
think like Bill Gates and some of these leftoids are also part of it? Or they're just tools under Soros?
They are not. They are already discredited. They are not. They are substitutes. So they may be in the chair, boards of chair or whatever, chair or boards somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe meeting at the Zoom, secret Zoom meetings and shit like that.
But they're not in the 4-person. Yeah. They don't decide in the 4-person meetings. Got it.
So we have Larry Fink, which is also he's like currently ex-coach of this blue team. He goes
Who's
to
Larry Fink?
uh,
I don't think I've
the
heard
guy
of that
who
name before.
CEO of BlackRock Corporation.
Oh, okay.
So basically, these guys decide which stocks are valid and which stocks are volatile, which stocks to buy, which stocks not to buy, and so on. So the market makers, I would say. So these guys decide. So we have Tucker Carlson interview with Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee, where basically in the beginning of this interview, he is telling Mike Lee what he heard from his sources, and they said that Barack Obama and Michael Obama called. It's not on my video. It's Tucker Carlson channel.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I'm just putting up your channel so people can see.
so basically, they called and said like, okay, we can put Kamala first. They called Biden and said, you are done. We are putting Kamala, but if she screws up, we are taking her down too. So now they have all this time before the official nomination. It's like August something, August 10 or maybe August 12. I don't remember. So it's yet a couple of maybe weeks
I
or
heard a
maybe
rumor
days left.
that there's a
Yeah.
couple of
So
states. Listen. I heard a rumor that there's a couple of states in the U.S. that don't allow, like the end of the allowable time to enter data, as in like to submit who you want to be your candidate, is passed. So they can't change the candidate from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris in a couple of states.
that's what I'm saying. It's all illegal stuff. Biden didn't compete in primaries himself. Now we have Kamala, who didn't compete in primaries, and so all the money goes to Kamala for some reason, unknown reason, and all these so-called sponsors are okay with their money being transferred to Kamala accounts. So I don't think it's all legal actually. But if we close our eyes and say it's okay, that's a democracy. We also had this report recently. Then around 10% of previous elections voters were not U.S. citizens, and
Yeah.
so that is incredible information. Now we know like where these people came from. All these votes that were record-breaking Biden votes, I would say. All these votes came from illegal immigrants. Not only from the dead people from the cemeteries, but also from illegal immigrants.
You think there were illegal dead immigrants too? Like maybe they came over illegal immigrants and they got their dead parents to vote as well? No?
including all categories, including transgender, Asian slash Puerto Rican Americans, which were dead 50 years ago. Them too.
Listen,
They all
I
could
have
vote for Biden.
I have a whole playlist. I have a whole playlist of videos here, and they're in some kind of order, and I have to play them in order to get to the ones that are covering the stuff that you already mentioned. So I'm gonna play this little thing as we dive into the Olympics, and this outlined that if basically it wasn't satanic enough that the opening ceremony is what it is, or was what it was, which is deleted off YouTube now, by the way. They've got men and women fighting in box, and men being proclaimed as women fighting against women and winning.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that?
I tell in boxer today got one jab and she just quit the match
Yeah.
because that guy just is big. He's big for a woman, I would say.
Yeah, that was a woman from Kosovo, the country, that did that with the Italian that you're talking about. Let's see. Oh, we got this guy breaking down the
Look
Olympics.
at what
Let's
just
see.
took place during the opening ceremonies for the Olympics. Here we saw a hidden cloaked figure riding on a horse. Behind him, what would seem totally abnormal is a pair of wings. What do we know about Lucifer and his fall? Well, he was a fallen angel, and 1/3 of the angels rebelled and fell with him. Revelation 6 mentions the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. One references to a white horse as well as a pale horse. So I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him. In Revelation 6, we're told of the beast that rides the white horse. In Revelation 13:3, it tells us, and all the world marveled and followed the beast. And what do we see here? That same cloaked figure riding a white horse. What's behind him? All the nations of the world following after him. This stuff isn't a coincidence. The imagery suggests that it's pointing exactly to the beast or the Antichrist of the book of Revelation.
So, your take.
That's why you have this Candace Owens 2 or 3 videos said where she suddenly pops up and starts to decode all these secret messages to trying to tell us that there is a team of satanic, Luciferian, pedophile criminals, and not even naming them exactly, just naming some historical figures. But she just pointed out that Macron's wife, for example, in her research, appeared to be a male, as like Michael Obama in takes of some other influencers was also a male.
Wait,
So,
we have that somewhere. Hold on. Here we go. Shall we play a bit of
Yes.
Candace Owens? Let's go back.
I'm not sure. Yeah, everybody can go and check it by himself if they didn't watch. It's just a long video of different facts mixed together. But all we need to know is this is the message, as every other message is a part of the script. So we have this Candace Owens, which is in numerology is 44, corruption in the created world, and she's trying to debunk or maybe expose or maybe tell us about different conspiracies here, including this one, that Macron wife is a pedophile who was molesting him when he was young, and
Time
became
out.
his wife.
Macron's wife
eventually.
is a man. Macron's wife is a man who was molesting him while he was still a boy.
Yeah.
Is what you want to get into. But the point is, you mentioned now Candace Owens 44. You've done a bunch of videos on this 3344 issue. Do you want to sum it up as briefly as you can to people, what it is and what are you finding everywhere in this pattern?
We're already talking about it for for several hours. It's all the same information, because what you see and what you find in these titles and these names of influencers on their channels name and their Twitter accounts names, these handles, I wouldn't you call them, or nicknames, they all tend to be 33 related names. Sometimes you have 33 plus 44, for example. So you have 2 people. One is 33, the second one is 44. Sometimes you have just a title figured out to be this 44, 33 thing. So I have like around
And what does
12
this actually?
videos already.
What does this actually mean? I mean, other than the Masonic 33, let's say, why is 44 significant? Like, I'm playing stupid here so that you can like tell the people who like
if
have
you
no
watch-
idea about this kind of stuff.
If you watch Candace Owens, she also talks about a small portion of this information in this exact video. She's talking about Aleister Crowley, who was a guy very famous in this research, I would say, to numerology and Masonic and
Satanic and conjuring
satanic.
spirits. Yeah.
Yeah, different other things, so you might as well check it out. But what she said actually in that video, that he was kicked out of Italy because at one of his sex orgies one famous person died, and everybody this information was exposed. Some whistleblower told Mussolini kicked him out, and he was living in France in the house of related somehow to mother of George Bush's wife, the Barbara Bush. And
It's a
if
small
you
world after all. It's a small.
yes. So basically, you have this Barbara Bush case, which is similar to Macron, Macron's wife and wife of Barack Obama. So basically, we have a guy as a wife of a president, including this Barbara Bush thing. So
That's
because we don't
right.
have,
Barbara Bush might have been a guy. I forgot about that conspiracy. That was like 10,
yes,
15, 20 years ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah.
not. She's not only a guy. She's also a daughter, potential daughter or son of Aleister Crowley, and she looks way. She looks like him, I would say. She looks like a man. She looks like
Wait,
him.
wait, wait,
Uh,
wait, wait. You're telling me that Barbara Bush, who is the mother, supposedly, of George W. Bush, and the wife, supposedly, of Herbert Walker Bush,
no, 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 no.
is.
She's not. She is a wife of George Bush Jr., the guy who was involved in 9/11 case, the case you've been
Okay,
talking
okay,
just
okay, okay.
currently.
Not the father. Okay, okay.
Yes. So I would say was that's how you have 9/11 actually, because they also like 9/11 as one of their numbers. They can put it as 6/11, as 9/11. You can spin it all the way around, and that's one of the numbers they also like. They like 77. They like 66. They like 38, 39. They like 90. They like 16. And one of the most favorite numbers of them is 17. Trump likes this number, and you even have a video, and I also have video on my channel where I compilate all these 17s. It's like numerous times when Trump is saying 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. It's
Hmm.
why 1717 actually is the year where when this Masonic lodge was founded in Britain. 1717 is the year, and we had like 2017 was the year of 300 years anniversary, and there was a big Masonic hall full of people. There were people from every Masonic lodge from all the world, and just in enormous amounts of people there. And all these videos are now deleted. You can only find portion of fragments and clips from that session, but it was available everywhere back in 2017. And so now
Can I
it's all
can
connected.
I pull your attention a little bit to the Olympic Games again? Because
Yes.
I wanna post this. Like I wanna flash this up in front of you. I shared it with you earlier, but the IOC explained that the situation with the inverted flag at the opening of the games, it was a mistake, and nobody is immune to human error. They hoisted the flag upside down, symbolically. You have anything to say to that?
Well, there's plenty of other things that we should take a look at this ceremony. For example, the pale horse symbolism. It's not the first horse that we already seen. It's like a fourth horse already. So now it's definitely death and war, and disasters. Everything happened. So
When did
basically,
we
the
see
pale
the other
horse.
three horses?
Oh, there were plenty of cases on that. I don't want to stop on this, but if you are really interested in this topic, go ahead and watch They Live Truth channel. He has all these videos also about horses. Biden was wearing one of the horses back in 2020, and so we have like first one is called disaster, I think. First one is crown, king with crown. So we had corona. The second one was I think sickness and epidemia and pandemic. And we had this also. We had so-called fatigue, or hunger, in other words, which was also staged in recently in 2 years, when we had this grain deal between Russia and Ukraine, blaming Russia that the Russians don't let Ukraine
Mm-hmm.
send all this
And the
grain
fertilizers,
to the
yeah, yeah.
countries, and they like dying from hunger everywhere. And so this is like all this. We also had this pipeline explosions in United States, in Nord Stream pipeline. We had a bunch of this technological evidence when we had like a raising of prices of gas and everything, inflation, everything started to be more expensive for people. We have the same pretty much income that we had before 2020, but the prices raised enormously everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think it's like twice or three times. And so inflation is a lot bigger than they tell us. So basically, we already have hunger because all these people are dying everywhere actually from not available food. You know, they don't have food available in their countries, in Africa, in Asia. I've seen people who
It's
are
because they're not
basically
liberal
living.
enough, man. It's because they're not liberal enough and they haven't considered eating bugs or eating other humans. Did you know that cannibalism is now cool in some countries? Like it's cool to be a cannibalist? Cannibal? Yeah, cannibal. We also got artists. This was sent in by Maya. This is probably one of the swimmers at the Paris Olympics.
Yeah,
It's obviously Abramovich here, by the way, for the people who don't recognize the artist, also known as Witch.
we're jumping from topic to topic, but I can also add, but she likes Zelensky pretty much. So we have like two teams exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
currently active playing teams, but that doesn't mean that we don't have other teams. And one of the other teams is the team that is behind the so-called banksters. Banksters established themselves majorly in London,
And they're
so they
independent
are
of red
kind
and
of
blue?
they are independent of everything. They are like above. They are the owners of casino. So in casino, we have this game played by different people, different teams, different players. But the owners of casino are these bankster clans because they have all these transactions inside their, under their dome of surveillance, I would say, banking surveillance. And so they get interest from every transactions, good or bad for people. They don't care. The casino is casino. Casino is always in profit. Okay, and so we have some other team that's called so-called national teams. These teams are separate from these first two teams and the third one, and they have their own interest, but they can be a part of each team at certain point of time, I would say. So basically, that's why you can see Turkey helping one team or the other team, and that's how it is. So it's like a game of missing chair. While the music is playing, everybody's running around, and when the music stops, one bot doesn't get the chair and gets kicked out.
One bot is 404, basically, like Ukraine is being now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Ukraine is not the piece of pie, but it's actually the center of interest since whatever times. I'm not actually sure since what times I've been already telling you. So basically, it's one of the central figures, and including Candace Owens' video, she's also telling us that this religion of pedophiles originated its second breath from Ukrainian territory, from Podolia. The territory was also involved in the start of World War II. I was telling you,
um,
I think,
that's
about
that's this
Carpathian Rus and so on.
episode 34 on Candace Owens' YouTube for anybody who is interested. And considering you bring up the P word, I'm going to pop this up there from CBS News. Comic-Con human trafficking citing Sting in San Diego leads to 14 arrests and 10 rescues. So, yeah, that's happening.
That's just the tip of the iceberg, as the case with the Scott Reeder case, so-called Scott Reeder case, when he was captured by the police, provoked by the police, pretending to be 16-year-old, I think, or 15-year-old girl talking
I think
to
it
him
happened twice,
online.
if I'm not mistaken. I think it happened twice, if I'm not mistaken, which is just retarded.
Yeah, he had like Yeah, first encounter was pretty much real. The second one was the one that was provoked, and so pretty much the same here on Comic Con. Comic Con, by the way, as Scott Reader also relates to 33 and 39. 39 is 33 also. So we have this Comic Con case as just the thing that is being exposed after this Trump assassination, as one of the things where these geeks were, hanging around. Actually, they used this platform to create human trafficking and even pedophile trafficking, I would say, uh, situation. People just came there, provoked them for doing illegal actions, and captured the whole sting, which is impossible actually, but they did it. And so I don't know how stupid you must be to do such things at these open ceremonies and stuff like this. I don't know, video surveillance everywhere. But including this Black Rocky situation I've been saying to you, we have this so-called Bohemian Grove situation, where Bohemia, as the province of Ukraine and Hungary, was the place where World War II started, actually, on close to Zacarpathian Rus, Bohemia, Slovakia, Hungary, Hungary, and so on. It's all currently it's Ukrainian land. And so she's also blaming Ukraine, saying nothing good comes from Ukraine. Everything is related to Ukraine. As I'm saying to you, yes, Ukraine plays a big role in this old script of the game that we currently observe, because Ukraine had all these witchery traditions, I would say. So where real human sacrifices,
Hmm.
which are even played on the book of famous book of Bulgakov, Master and Margarita. Maybe you read it, where
Yep.
we can decode M and M. M and M is Masonic degree, Master, and Margaret is one of the names of the ladies in the past that was used also. So we can only guess how many things were involved, because plenty of books were telling all these human sacrifices in Khazarian territory, because Ukraine is also ex-Khazarian territory. And Candace Owens also mentions that, because Khazarians were basically Judaic tradition people who were making money from not only trade, as we
This
used to
is
know. They
this is all a joke that you heard somewhere on the subway. Somebody told you a joke about the history, right?
Yes. I'm not sure about that, but they were doing slavery. This is the
I,
first
I
nation that officially was making money from slavery and human trafficking.
I only heard
And now
I only heard about these K people from jokes. I never heard about them in real life.
that's a real country. Khazarians
I
came
know,
from
man. I know.
uh,
I know. I'm trying to be, a little bit of a comedy show. But seriously, it's like I don't want to. I like some of these topics. When I get into them, I like to make sure that I'm joking about them. You know what I mean? So that later, when YouTube tells me that I'm being serious, I can tell them I'm joking about them. You know.
yeah, you are joking. You sure hear all these laughing people everywhere. But
Right?
basically, Persian Iranians or Persian people are not really laughing currently, because they are on the brink of the war with Israel one more time. And back in the days before Khazarian Empire was started, all these Judaic people were living in Persia, and Persian people kicked them out. So they went north and established their control of so-called Khazarian lands. Part of them were currently the lands that are currently control of Ukraine, including Crimea, including some Russian territories. So we have this situation one more time. Basically, we are on the brink of the war, and this triangle, Ukraine, Russia, Iran, and Israel, is still ongoing, because we can basically see Zelensky is a Jewish origin
Tool.
person, right?
Tool.
And
He's just a
he's
tool of the
yeah
Khazarian
he's
Empire, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, the series of Ukraine, they all have this large amount of Jews everywhere. So the president Poroshenko was a Jew before Zelensky. Now we have another Jew, and we have plenty of Jews in Russian government. We have plenty of Jews in Israeli government. So
Hmm.
basically, it's all the same story, fighting around the same territory. And we have Erdogan also saying, yes, we can move our troops to Israel if something happens. But, can he actually do it? I'm not sure. But he is pretending to be. So, what are they trying to draw in front of our eyes is the World War III situation when everybody's going to forget about what they were owning before. Everybody's going to be just happy because they survived this war. And that's what the script was about, is to tell us that you own nothing and be happy. And how can this happen? This happened only after a big, big war when all these normal things just perish in vain and we are left with what's left and actually be happy we survived all this situation.
Why do some of the Argentinian Olympians have German last names? For the same reason that you're describing. I have some more videos. I have to play these videos. Let me find these videos. Oh, Joe Biden on the Olympics. I actually haven't heard her. I haven't heard this video.
Spectacular. The rain did not dampen our spirits. And Casey, honestly, every step of the way, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, how are we going to top this? How are we going to top this?
Yeah. This is an Indian American's take on Kamala Harris running. This is hilarious.
Kamala Harris, you are not getting any vote from the Indian community. Specifically because you do not talk like this. You are half Indian and I've never seen you eat chicken tikka masala. Kamala Harris, have you even seen Om Shanti Om? Do you even know how to say hello in Hindi? It is Kyawa, by the way. But don't use that in your speech. I have not seen you wear a sari once in your life. Donald Trump will get the Indian vote, however. Do you know who runs all of Trump's IT software? That is correct. Indians. We run all the tech support on Truth Social. Kamala, I don't ever want you using your half-Indianness ever again. We revoke your Indian access. Are not allowed to Uber eat from any Indian restaurant ever again. Indians, shame Kamala Harris. Shame.
Philip, how do you feel about Kamala Harris's Indian background?
Well, she's not the only one. J.D. Vance's wife is also Indian. Ramaswamy on the Trump side currently also Indian. So we have this Indian. We just had Rishi Sunak in Britain, right? The prime minister who was also Indian. So Indians are everywhere currently, and they are like putting their like octopus, putting their hands in our. they just
Tentacles everywhere, yeah.
Tentacles everywhere. So this is what I think about Indians, because Indians know that something's gonna happen pretty much soon, and they want to take a big part of it.
You know what?
As
I
I've
was
been
surprised
saying,
when the Gaza thing started, how Indians became super extra Zionist, man. Like some of the biggest supporters of Zion are Indians.
that's just
I
the
was
same
surprised.
game. So you understand, Dravidians, Nagi, and Judaism is the same religion as this Dragonism, Nagiism, Dravidianism, human sacrificism. It was originated from that, you know. As you have you seen Indiana Jones, by the way, one of the old movies when he was
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to Indian temple and they were having human sacrifices there, and so
Maybe.
that's a Dravidian religion. They worship Kali Ma or Black Ma, and basically Masons are Ma sons. So they are sons or sons of Ma. Who is Ma? Kali Ma, the Black Ma. And so they want to bring a black woman to the top of the world and worship her. And basically, this black woman can be Kamala Harris, can be Michael Obama, who actually knows.
Um, you mentioned Indiana Jones as if you were referring to documentary. I want to ask you how do you feel about the fact that you get the impression after watching so many movies from the West that many of these sci-fi movies that are make believe have a lot more truth to them than we're originally told. Do you think that's
Cannot
the
make
case?
up things. You cannot make up things that you haven't heard or seen. That's the problem. So if you've seen something or maybe heard something, you can make something up based on that. So all these script writers from Hollywood, they know what to write about, and so they make up stories based upon different other books. And these books are not also baseless. These books are based on something else. And like in the ancient, all these ancient texts are rewritten and re-edited plenty of times. All these so-called copywriters, they know what they're writing about, what the script is about. If starting from Jesuits, they were rewriting all these books. Now we have this Masonic agenda since 1717, when they started to rewrite everything, rethink everything, reestablish this
It's
technology,
funny.
ancient technology, reinvent everything, restructure, reset. That's called the reset, because once in a while you have to do the reset to gain the more technologies for the future, then do another reset to gain more technologies for the next stage, and so on. So it's an endless process, a cyclic process, where you gain the technology, you get rid of the people who gave you this technology, and you replace these people with other people who are more cheap, less expensive for you, and less smart. And so you do it all over again until you reach another level in technology, and then you get rid of these people, and so on. So it's endless process. As I've been saying in reset theory, we are witnessing the one of the final stages of so-called great reset. You know.
Um, it's funny when you mentioned copywriters. I used to actually work for a marketing company at some point in my life, and I used to write copy, which, for those who don't know, is text that you see in ads or like anywhere. And technically, it's called copy. So when you say that these people who are copywriting these, copies of scripts are getting it from other scripts, the whole term copywriter gives a whole new meaning to the term. You know what I mean? So yeah, thank you for that. Let's have a look at this Kamala Harris.
To the lovely people of Wakanda, I know you will make the right choice. And as always, Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
Cheap laughs, man. Cheap laughs. That's how I'm getting through my YouTube. I don't know about you.
And now we should finish up with Russian involvement and all this stuff. So I promised I would lead our format to this Russia case, Russian gate, whatever.
But we
And
didn't get
have
to
this.
we didn't get to the mostly peaceful protests in Venezuela yet. I was gonna play a video of mostly peaceful protests in Venezuela, and tell you how Russia is to blame. It's obviously Russia to blame. Like, who else could it be? It's Wagner.
These guys are basically paid by the State Department, and this guy is paid by China and Russia. So that's the other side of the game, I would say. So we have
Let's
these national players everywhere, which are helping each other from time to time, but they all controlled by Big Dragon. Big Dragon is uh, always nearby. Big Dragon is gonna eat something very soon, and they use these small countries to, like, have a bait for fishing these big capitalist predators,
Mhm.
which always want to take a bite of something. and they take a bite of something, and then this big dragon comes as a bigger fish. It eats the smaller fish, of course, and so this is how the game works. There's always a bigger fish, as they say in Star Wars. You can always find somebody who is watching how these players exhaust themselves before getting killed by the bigger fish. So now we have the same.
One of the videos that you sent is Revolutionary Communists of America marching. Why did you share
Exactly.
that?
Because it's a simple example of how Chinese influence reached the United States, and we can see it.
You think it's Chinese?
Who else is funding all this stuff? Who is funding Democratic Party? Who is funding Communist? That's all the same sponsor team.
Yeah, that's your take.
That's why red team doesn't like Chinese, because Chinese are not funding them. That's the only reason. They would be kissing their lips if they would be funding them, as they fund Democrats. Have you seen Chinese President Xi arriving to Los Angeles?
Yeah, when they kicked out this homeless and everybody else, and they cleaned up the city. Yeah.
San Francisco, I think it was. So they
Something
cleaned
like
all the
that.
whole city. Yeah, and so this San Francisco has a big Chinatown also. So all these Chinese people with Chinese red flags on this Chinatown streets, and the rest, it looked like the emperor arrived, and they're all happy. Governor Newsom and I don't know who else was there. Everybody was happy. They were smiling.
Considering you bring up China and money, and we're already off the deep end of conspiracy theories, I've heard a story about a company that is actually a company owned by the Chinese government or the Chinese dynasty that is still alive in the background from the emperors, and that has this holding company that owns half of the world basically. Have you heard anything about this? Does this sound familiar?
Yeah, this company called Taiwan.
You mean the country?
Yes, Taiwan, one of the countries that actually received its gold from United States and has it on their own island, saved in a big cave, just like dragons like. They like big caves full of gold, so they can sleep on it and protect it. So basically, China is a country that appeared from nowhere, since it was destroyed by these opium procedures that were manipulated there by British and Americans. Then it was totally destroyed, devastated, had a couple coups, revolutions, and voila, we have a new China, which appeared in 1949, I think, or 1948. And since that, we have a split between China and Formosa. Formosa became Taiwan, and Taiwan was representing China in the United Nations since 1940 something to 1971. At 1971, Americans made a deal with the original China and kicked Taiwan out of the United Nations. So basically, now they think that Taiwan is a part of China. One country policy, I would say, one nation policy, but they still fund Taiwan to be a pain in the ass on the China's territory, just like British were, also funding Hong Kong, and have Hong Kong 50 years more of democratic regime under China, which is also ridiculous. So they basically, as we say, paying each other, loving each other, having sex with each other, sleeping with each other, whatever you call it, and sharing the profits with each other. So it's a whole big, big influence of China everywhere. You can see him, and also India is coming from the background of China and having their own game. We can see that too.
You sent this picture, but before we get into that Russian thing, I wanted to bring up one more thing that Rohit brought up from chat. the interpretation of the Greek god Dionysus. Fun fact: liberalism comes from the root liber. Liber is from the Roman equivalent Dionysus, god of wine and fertility, sex. That is from Rohit. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised because they try to pull this guy to Dionysus, but he's not actually Dionysus. He's a blue blood, a typical creature of so-called Navi world inhabitants. This is a race of Navi world. I've been saying that we all live in the bigger world that surrounds us. It's called Navi world. That's why it's called water world. And or you have a navigation, which is navigate. We are the navigate. We are the gate to Navi, and so these blue blood people are actually the parasites, the hybrids that are used to control us from the outside, and they control everything. So the guy representing the blue blood.
In the biblical story, are they the Nephilim, basically?
I think it's all mixed up. I don't think you can call them exactly Nephilim, but you can call them blue bloods for sure. It's basically black aristocracy is the other name for them. So it's the folks of Holy Roman Empire, the folks from we would say Hanseatic Union, the folks from so-called Atlantis Union. If the Atlantis Union still existed, they would have probably be governed by these blue bloods. But thankfully it was destroyed, and so we don't see them anymore. By the way, part of the Atlantis was located on Ukrainian territory, or Crimea. I was talking about this Black Sea situation. And so Crimea was supposed to be a Jewish California, but Stalin didn't return his promise to Roosevelt, whose wife was a Jewish Judaic fan, and she was, she wanted to return Crimea to Jews, and so to create this Jewish state there, and so they signed a deal in Yalta. So Stalin's supposed to be returning Crimea to them, but something mixed up, and Roosevelt was killed by the kiss of death by the Russian painter. The lady that was painting him, she kissed him in the lips, and he died. And they buried him in a closed coffin, so nobody could see
news
that
to me.
The poison was affecting his death. So that's probably the first assassination attempt that was actually made by a Russian, and influenced the world history and the United States history. Because after Roosevelt, Truman came, and we had this scripted show of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where we have these so-called nuclear explosions and so on. And after that, they were actually unnecessary to win the war, but they did it anyway. And so we have this situation currently, because anytime something like that could be shown to us, maybe some tactical nuclear explosion, or maybe some dirty bomb case. Who knows actually what they're up to? So some type of ignition event of the so-called reset operational war type of reset operation, because war is one of the technologies they use during the resets. War is war is a method to reduce the national debts of the country. For example, currently we have a national debt of $35 trillion in the United States. The overall interest, yearly annual interest, is exceeding the income tax of the United States. So that's a problem for United States. How they're going to return this debt, or they even are planning to return. I don't think they are planning to return it, but what they can do a global case of the world war, and that's when everybody forgets about their debt, right?
That's where you can blame Russia for the bread lines. So Vlad the Impaler Hill, the emailer. You want to clue us into Russian collusion and circle back to Kamala and Trump?
Kamala and Putin are the people of Clintons, because Bill Clinton was the president of the United States during the so-called establishment of Russian Federation, and so they had plenty of people set there, and which were sent to United States to get some, study in there and so on. So most of the Russian elites during Clinton times were studying in United States. So they had this contact line. They have a bunch of agents of influence in Russia. And Putin was the one that's supposed to be playing for Clinton team. But no, he didn't. And he became Bush agent, and he became friend with George Bush. He was
Is this before or after
Bush.
the red button reset stupid thing with Hillary?
And that was after George Bush.
Mhm.
So when Clinton's returned to the office with Barack Obama, and so Clinton arrived in Moscow and tried to present this
What do you
reset.
mean? Wait. What do you mean Clinton's return to the office with Barack Obama? I thought Barack Obama was in power and this is a democracy. What are you talking about? Are you telling me that there's a dynasty in America?
Well, Bill Clinton himself has nothing to do to Clintons, because
Yeah, she's the witch.
Hillary
She's
Rodham,
the witch.
She is the witch, yeah, and she's behind all the intrigues and situations. So basically, when Clinton's returned with Barack Obama case and all this stuff, and now we have also some type of split in their team. We have Barack Obama team, which is basically Blinken, Nuland, who else? I'm not sure. Nuland was the big player. She got kicked off of the office in March, and we have only Blinken left. And now we see Kamala is not making Blinken a vice president. She's probably choosing somebody else, and that's a Clinton person. That's the guy who pays Clinton. And I think Kamala is totally a puppet of Clinton's, because it's the only active Democratic opinion leaders that are alive currently in the party. The rest of them are just, who can you name also? Maybe Ocasio-Cortez, but she's too young, and
She's a project. She's a project. She's a made-up personality. She doesn't exist.
Yeah, she's not pumped up enough. She's not inflated enough to be big enough as Clintons and Obamas are. So,
But
so basically,
you're saying that Clinton is the only one who's alive? That like stretches the definition of alive. But considering Biden is alive, then Clinton is definitely alive. Yeah.
Biden was never an independent player. He was only a senator,
Mhm.
right? He was good enough as a senator, but when he became president, he was a shadow of Barack Obama in Barack Obama's administration, and he became the same shadow because the same people from Barack Obama's office were right near him, including Blinken and Nuland, right? So all these foreign relationships with other countries were still controlled by Obama's and Clinton's, by the way. So
I just want to bring up some news that came up on my feed just before we started recording. Mark Rubio, Senator, China, Russia, and Iran are evading U.S. sanctions by using alternate financial system. Introduced a bill which would ensure these regimes are held accountable for their attempt to bypass our laws. So this guy thinks that other countries should follow U.S. law. How do you feel about
nobody cares? Nobody cares what he says. What I know is before this case with Trump, they were talking. Chinese people were talking, and Blinken were talking, and so they kind of established this case. If Trump is dead, then we fine. We're gonna have a trade deal, and everybody's gonna be fine. You're gonna have finance. You guys in China, you get all this chip production, and Americans get all this technological
Wait,
production, all this.
what I'm getting from you is that Blinken told the Chinese that they were gonna kill Trump, and then the Chinese saved Trump.
Exactly. No Chinese saved Trump. I don't think Chinese
How do you
saved
know?
Trump.
Maybe the Chinese
I,
did
I,
save Trump.
I
Maybe
think
the
it was
North
just a
Koreans
plan
saved
B
Trump.
yeah, it was just a plan B for as I'm saying, they have the script and they have two plans for each script, two
It's like
outcomes.
those books. It's like those books that you can read. At the end, it says, "If you want to enter the room, turn to page 17, and if you don't want to enter the room, turn to page 32." And then, like, the book finishes differently depending on whether you enter the room or not. Have you ever read any of those books? I used to read those as a
No, I
kid.
think you have certain roadmap, right? Roadmap to some certain case, some certain outcome in the future, and you can follow the track of this roadmap to the left, to the right, but eventually you all gonna be convergent in one point. So whatever road you choose, you still gonna finish at the same point everybody else would finish. You know,
And that point is misinformation, Russian
and
propaganda.
the point is to blame something to start the war, and so they want a cause of war. That's what they want eventually,
Yeah.
and they don't care who's gonna be a president of United States, of Russia, of China. It can only delay this process for a couple of years, for a couple of months, but still other tracks would lead to, and we have this ignition anywhere. It's like we had in World War One. There were plenty of cases to start war on, but the war started on this murder of Earl Herzog, right? Earl Duke Ferdinand in
Yeah.
Serbia.
Yeah.
So it is just the cause. Defining the cause in this process is very simple. You have it multiple ways, and you find the best one as a cause, and that's okay for the media at least, and for the
It's like
historians in the future.
it's like you're in a chamber and there's gas that's flammable, and you just keep adding gas and gas and gas and just wait for the heat or a spark, and it explodes and it takes out the world. That's what you're describing, basically. That's what they're doing on a global scale. The
Yeah.
K people, the K clan.
Just like bomberos used to do. They wanted to blow the building. They wanted to set a fire. They wanted to, do whatever to destroy ancient history, ancient technology, ancient population, the people that knew stuff, how this stuff were made. They wanted to get rid of these people, and so they brainwash their kids and they use them as a slave mass for the future processes, or maybe replace them with some migration flows, population from different regions, from villages, for example. Move the people from village to the city, lock them up in the city, and they forget everything about what they were doing in the village, and they don't even care what the previous people in the city were doing, right? They just live their lives trying to survive there, just what people do. People are hanging on to their lives, to their families. They try to survive. Once you break the family, you won't have this unity, this cell unity inside the human population. That's why we have this situation when the blue team is forcing us to take new rules. In these new rules, there's no family, there's no God, there's no parents, there's only agenda which you're supposed to be
And
following.
equality.
Equity. Equity is the new equality. Equality is equality. Equity is uh, receiving whatever you need to reach the result, not to get the same as the others as equality. Equity is when you have whatever is necessary, and that's one of the most favorite words of Kamala Harris. She likes to talk about equity and equity this, equity that, and
I think
not having even.
there's a clip of her with that, but we'll save more of Kamala and some of Trump. We also had Trump to get into. Shall we do a little bit of Trump? That video where he kisses the helmet. You wanna get that out of the way?
Symbolism with this Olympics and symbolism with this Trump situation is pretty much the same, out of the same box. So you have this guy who was killed, supposedly killed during this assassination, and he was kind of kissing the helmet and so on. That is a ritual. There's a ritual, Masonic ritual, including the case with his shoes. When he kind of lost his shoes, was also Masonic ritual. And by the way, we had a close-up of his ears after his healing, and that is suspicious. Too fast to heal, as I've been saying in the chat. He doesn't seem to be healing that fast, but less than 2 weeks passed, you don't even see any scratch anymore. That is very suspicious. So that's why I'm saying probably he was an actor that's supposed to be killed on the scene, but he wasn't killed, and that's why he had a plan B, what to do, right? And the script was played the other way, the other outcome of the script, but still the same outcome. Then he's probably gonna get murdered in the second assassination attempt, and maybe even later after his inauguration. So my prediction is he still's gonna be shot one more time or 2 more times, and they're gonna get rid of
There's
him.
a lot of
Because the script,
there's a lot of people who are saying that basically that he won't make it to the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Considering the flu of assassinations that's going around worldwide, including Africa, which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Is very, very likely. It wouldn't surprise me if there's all kinds of
it's all speculation.
October surprises.
It's all part of speculation, but still, only time can show us what's gonna happen. But we have to wait a little bit, and we'll see unveiling of this process very much soon, I think.
We've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes almost. Is there anything you'd like to point out before we call this a recording?
Just to say that Russians are not involved in any of these processes. We are just standing by, close to Ukraine, and that's why we are always mentioned in everything, because Ukraine is the center of global interest currently. They have all these resources for this world to move around a couple more decades, and so the blue team won't lose as bad as they are losing currently in Europe and Americas. But we may be witnessing that they can even win, and these dead people, these illegal immigrants that are flowing the country, 8 million people, by the way, on the Biden's timeline when he was president, on the Biden's term, 8 million illegal immigrants more.
8 million.
8 million more.
That's
and
insane.
Now you have like around maybe 25, 30 million illegal immigrants which can cast their votes on Kamala Harris and make her beat Donald Trump. And what they actually want, they want to start something bigger in the United States, something
like a civil war,
something maybe a process of collapse of the state, because they don't need such a big eater. They don't need to feed all these people. If you have an allegory of what world might look like, a big person, very big person, giant person, then America would be what part of that person? What do you think?
The stomach?
Digestive system.
Yeah, stomach. I was being nice. Philip.
And so they consume a lot and they shit a lot, and that's why nobody wants such a big, case to exist. And so they rather have it as a plan B, plan C for the world, but it's still on the table. We can see it anywhere, anytime, anywhere. Maybe something big happens, and we can see this sort of collapse in America. And if the war is not started, of course, if the war starts, America's gonna be flourishing one more time. Have maybe be great again, as Trump promised. My-
It'll be great, but it'll be much smaller, and I think there might be a status 6 or 2 that happens. Also, everybody who's stuck around to the end, thank you for sticking around. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I want to say, because this is going to be mirrored on your channel too. Everybody who's on your channel, come over to my channel on YouTube and check out some of my stuff too. There's all kinds of interesting talks, and they're generally funny, or at least we try.
If you want, if Stefan won't bother me too much, maybe we can make it some regular type of chat period, maybe once 2 weeks, or maybe twice a month. I don't know, something
Definitely.
like that. Because
Definitely.
I probably won't be making much on YouTube, because since YouTube is getting blocked in Russia, it's going so rapid. I was
Oh yeah, I
thinking like
heard
3
that.
months
Is it
ago.
actually like what does that even mean? Getting blocked? Is it getting blocked from the Russian government side, from the internet side, from the law side, from the YouTube side? What does that even
I don't
mean?
want you to get I don't want you to get bored with this information. Basically, what you need to know is YouTube is done in Russia. I almost can't watch YouTube anymore, unless I use some, life hacks and so on. But
Yeah,
all
yeah,
these
yeah.
life hacks are getting cut by the government. Sooner or later, is going to be totally blocked, and I probably won't be able to upload videos and so on. I already talked to a person who said you cannot go live anymore. So basically, I cannot go live anymore for sure already. And maybe I don't know what to do. Maybe I
What about
also start
Rumble?
my
Get on
Telegram
Rumble.
channel. Maybe just people for now, a substitute case could be your Telegram channel. So everybody go to Stefan's Telegram channel. Link is in the description. Subscribe. You have they have a chat there, and I'm posting all this shit on his chat. So you
You wouldn't be the first.
keep your
You wouldn't be the first guest of mine who I convinced to open up a Telegram channel of their own. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting into there. But in the meantime, yes, find Working Brother down below. There's a link. Telegram. If
Yeah.
you're not there, you should be. It's an amazing app. It doesn't censor stuff, among other things.
If you want to keep in touch, just stick around this chat, and we'll keep in touch. I'll be posting actual new information that is relevant to the current reset procedures, and then that'll be fine
Excellent.
for now.
I just wanted to flash this meme up there for everybody who is already in Telegram knows that I've been through some technical difficulties with my computer, and Citizen 1001 sent along this meme, which I think is hilarious and very apropos. Me being my own IT support. So there we go. That's out of the way. And the music is up. Philip, thank you again for stopping by. It's been excellent. We'll definitely do this again, probably regularly, like you suggested. Everybody who stuck around to the very end, thank you. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And see you later. Peace.